My name is Onyango Otieno. I grew up in a very violent home. I watched my mother and dad fight a lot. My dad struggled with alcoholism and he was the more abusive one. Having a lot of physical abuse made me become a very quiet boy. So people thought that was just merely my temperament, but I was just in a lot of pain which was unexpressed.
My dad was very ill. He was diabetic. He had a stroke that made him paralyzed. My mother literally saw the love of her life like he was fading, in front of her. So she couldn't cope. She was hearing things, she was seeing things, she couldn't sleep, she couldn't eat. And in our family, they thought, it's juju, it's witchcraft.
I found out that I suffer from chronic anxiety. Like the phone would ring and I would it's almost like an internal space. I sought professional help and luckily I didn't require medicine to take care of it, but I just learned, I was given a few tools, I was helped to process what was going on with me, what were some of my triggers and stuff like that.
The difference between today's session, it's not only an interview, but an actual therapy session. And one thing the doctor told me is that I need to come for another session just in case today's opens up this Pandora's box and I won't know what to do with everything that has come out. So I've just come out of my first session with Dr. Kirindi and I'm feeling very vulnerable. Happy, but vulnerable.
I used to go to my uncles and I'd tell them that Dad is not taking care of us, like he's too much, and they tell me things like atasisitulichapwa hivyo, so you just feel helpless. I started feeling like life was too much for me, and that was my first time to get suicidal.
A cousin of mine was diagnosed with schizophrenia. She was sort of dismissed as a delinquent child in high school, when in realness she had a mental instability that she required professional help for.
I want to talk about this stuff, and the more I wrote about it, the more so many people will get to my inbox saying that me too, I'm going through this, I'm going through what you're talking about, how are you coping with it, how are you coping with that? And I just felt like, how come so many of us are going through this thing, but we're not talking about it?
With my experience, I learned that mental health is actually a chemical imbalance. And if you have the right medication, you can actually prevent it from becoming chronic.
I want to tell Africa about this, and I want us to feel better. I want us to start pushing our governments to bring better mental health care policies into place so that treatment can be better, because without social justice, then we are just going to have more mental illness in this continent.
Because if we look at the whole person is seen as a wheel. So if you think of a pizza and you think of all the different slices in a pizza, so we've got our social, we've got our emotional, we've got our intellectual, we've got our sexual, and we've got our spiritual. So you want to see all these bits and you want to assess those bits and see, where am I?
If you're in a position that you cannot identify or understand your health status and you're not emotionally or psychologically stable, then it means your mental health is not good.
Picking up is what saved me, really. Depression prowls on your silence.